boys and girls.
Are you ready?
Talking junk in the break room. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Talking Junk.
We are live!
In the break room.
Welcome to Talking Junk. Today's Saturday, so you know what that means. We in the break room tonight. Yeah. And we talking the exalted one, Brodie Lee, also known as Luke Harper. I'm banging on out tonight with my man Chance.
ID papers!
We got tonight special guest, dancing mailman, Big Kev. How you doing, buddy?
How you living, baby? How you living?
We doing all right. And as always, the analyst, the lovely China.
Hello.
The 10th wonder of the world.
How's everybody doing tonight?
Good. How are you?
We're doing great, man. I'm good over here.
I'm
I'm actually at a different location for today, but I'm still on.
Hello, everybody on Facebook.
You went to upstate New York to channel the great John Huber.
The great John Huber. I'm actually going to Rochester on Wednesday. So I'll be trying to get to that memorial. I was trying to get there today, but my friend told me he had to reschedule. But on Wednesday, I'll definitely have a picture of that memorial that they have of him up there.
Sounds good. We'll be sure to put that up on the
Definitely, I'll
page.
put that on the break room.
Definitely. China, you want to show us who we're talking about today? Brodie Lee, born John Huber, December 16th, 1979. He passed this past December 26, 2020. He was a great professional wrestler. We all know him as many names: Brodie Lee, Luke Harper, Mr. Brodie. Great performer. When he passed, we found out how much of a great man he was. Family man. All right, there we go. We're back on. I don't know what just happened there. You guys back?
I'm here.
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. Video cut out for a
I'm
second.
here.
Sorry
I'm
there.
Oh,
But again, we're talking about John Huber, Mr. Brodie Lee. So we'll start it off real quick. Let you know where he's from. He was born John Huber, December 16th, 1979. He worked the independent circuit much of his life, but he was originally born in Rochester, New York, which is where he started his career. From 2003 to 2012, Huber worked on the independent circuit under Brodie Lee, but he started off as Huber Boy 2 in the backyard wrestling with Colin Delaney and his real-life brother. And he said in an interview that right after his brother got chokeslammed, he changed his profession. He wanted to be a referee after that. So he couldn't take it. So he became the only Huber Boy. But ironically, he was still Huber Boy number 2. He won multiple championships in his little league. And then he went to other things like Chikara from 2007 to 2012. Huber made his debut on Chikara March 24th, 2007. He adapted the gimmick The Right Stuff, Brodie Lee. losing to Equinox. Originally he was scheduled. He wasn't even scheduled to wrestle. Some guy called out last minute. The promoter seen him there. He called him in to see if he had his ring gear. He got the gig. He made the match, and the rest was history from there. He made a couple of debuts for them, a couple of matches with the Olsen twins. Hello?
Is it me you're looking for?
I can see it in your eyes. I can hear it in your smile. I don't know how I can hear it in your smile, but
right.
All right. Where were we? Is the phone picked up? Chikara. So he did many great things in Chikara. One of the biggest things after he became Big Rig is he fought Claudio Castellano. That's when he adapted Big Rig and started becoming a heel, started bullying other wrestlers, smaller wrestlers. He issued a challenge to Castellano. Their first match was on April, and it ended in disqualification after Castellano accidentally kicked the referee. The second match was on the 24th, and it ended in similar fashion. This time, Lee was disqualified for kicking the referee, and it led to a no disqualification match on July 13th, which Lee won after interference from Shane Hawk and Mitch Ryder. Both of whom had a grudge with Castellano for breaking up the Kings of Wrestling the previous year. Late in 2008, Brodie Lee aligned himself with Eddie Kingston and Grizzly Redwood to form the stable, the Roughnecks. Get that Roughnecks up there. There we go. There we go. I don't know who Grizzly Redwood is, but that's an ugly motherfucker. February 2009, the Roughnecks defeated Ultra Mantis Black, Crossbones, and Sami Callihan to earn a spot in the 2009 King of Trios tournament. On March 27th, the Roughnecks lost their King of Trios opening round to the Team Uppercut, which is Bryan Danielson, Claudio Castellano, and Dave Taylor. Some people might know them as Daniel Bryan and Cesaro from WWE. Just so early on, he had a great career on the indies, fighting most of the greats. Did any one of you guys see him on the indies?
I was able to. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead,
I was able to see him 2 times before he got signed with WWE. Like right before he signed with NXT, I saw him in Hog Wrestling in New York City. They had booked him for a match, and it was against Dominik Dijakovic before Dominic had exploded and became whatever he is in Retribution now. And it was a really good match. He caught my eye there, and then a couple of months later, he was then after there he had exploded. That's when they brought him to NXT, and they changed his name to Luke Harper when Bray Wyatt brought him out. I actually just saw his debut the other day.
What about you, Big Kev?
No, I never got to see him on any independent. Just following WWE and seeing him pop up there.
I didn't get the chance to see him on the independents, but I seen him later when he was already in WWE, which is a treat for me. I loved him. I thought he was so underrated in WWE. It was a shame. But back to his early career. Between 2007 and 2012, and I'm skipping a lot. He did a lot in Chikara. He fought a lot. After that, with Team Uppercut, Kingston moved on, feuding with Castellano, and Lee and Redwood began wrestling matches as a tag team, with victories over Los Ice Creams, Cheech Hernandez and Casey Day, and the North Star Express. Lee and Redwood earned their right to challenge for the Campeonatos del Bajas on October 17, 2009. Lee and Redwood challenged the Colony, Fire Ant and Soldier Ant, for the championship, but were defeated in 2 straight falls. Lee opted to give Redwood one more chance, but when he dropped the fall on October 19th in a match against the Orison Portal. Lee kicked him in the face, effectively ending the Roughnecks. Redwood made his return 6 months later on April 24th, 2010, as a surprise opponent of Lee's, but was easily defeated by him. Afterwards, Redwood stated that he was not done with Lee, but would prepare himself before the next match. On August 29th, Lee entered the Countdown Showdown Battle Royal and was dominating the match before being eliminated by Redwood. On October 23rd, Lee suffered an upset loss in a match against Dasher Hatfield, who was defeated by Redwood the following day. On November 20th, Lee and Redwood, having earned each other's respect, reunited and attacked Hartfield after the match with Shane Buck Hawk. On January 23rd, 2011, at the season 10 premiere, the Roughnecks defeated the Throwbacks and the Hatfield. So he had a pretty significant run in Chikara. By then, he went on to do other things. Like he fought in 2CW for a while, teaming up with Colin Olsen, and Jimmy Olsen, the Olsen twins. He won the NWA Upstate World Heavyweight Championship after a while being in NWA Upstate. He fought in Ring of Honor against names like Jimmy Jacob, Austin Aries, John Moxley was one of his biggest rivals, Sami Callihan in Evolve. So he fought a lot of big names. Sami Callihan's the TNA World Champion, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow.
Chance, do you know that? For sure?
Yeah, I actually did know that he feuded with all those guys. That's why they renewed the feud between him and John Moxley. My bad. I had to.
I mean, Sami Callihan, is he still TNA champion, or did?
No. He's not. Right now, the TNA World Champion is a Rich Swann.
Rich Swann. He fought Rich Swann too.
Yeah, he fought Rich Swann also as well.
Yeah, in the independence here, it says he fought for Dragon Gate. He fought a lot.
Dragon Gate. Yeah, he fought for Dragon Gate Wrestling. He fought for also WCPW right before WWE.
Yeah, Kyle O'Reilly. He fought Rich Swann, Silas Young. Fought a bunch of people before going to Jersey All Pro in 2009 to 2011. Jersey All Pro, where I'm trying to skip to get to the stuff that you guys might know, so we can have a interesting conversation here. So Jersey All Pro, Lee made his debut on the 28th of March in 2009 as a member of the Hillbilly Wrecking Crew, which is pretty accurate, just to say the least, because his gimmick did. When he adapted the dirty trucker look, as you can see from right there, it just stuck with him. It stuck with him all the way up until we'll get to it, the Bludgeon Brothers. But it was a great look for him. After that, he went to WWE, but he signed in NXT. So on March 12th, 2012, it was reported that Huber had signed a developmental contract with WWE. Huber made his debut for WWE's developmental territory, Florida Championship Wrestling, at a house show on May 18th, working under the new ring name Luke Harper. When FCW was rebranded as NXT in August. What was that?
No, I'm just listening to you.
Harper made his television debut November 7th episode of NXT as a follower of Bray Wyatt, who introduced Harper as the first son of the Wyatt family. The Wyatt family, that was when he fought Kyle O'Reilly. That's one of the people he fought in Chikara and Dragon Gate. There we go. The Wyatt family in NXT. The Wyatt
that was for me. They broke out so crazy because they were like the first Mystique and like that aura gimmick in NXT ever. If a lot of people ain't noticed that like Bray Wyatt and them were like the first aura Mystique group of the Wyatt family.
It was also the greatest fucking rendition of a Mystique gimmick in a long time. Probably since like the Ministry of Darkness or something.
Ministry of Darkness was good, but yes, but since like the Undertaker, one of like for me those Mystique groups, very they broke out really hard with that, and that's why like Bray Wyatt is at where he's at today, because I feel like this is one of his best versions of himself. Besides everything else he's created after that.
So the Wyatt family later also came to include Wyatt's second son, Eric Rowan, as you can see right there in the green with the big old beard. It's not, you don't adjust your eyelids, all right? That's
Hey,
Big Kev.
I think we have him on the show. That's the mailman.
You want to show the viewers who Big Kev is?
Say that again.
China's gonna let the viewers know who you are real fast. Oh, we can't hear it. So if you go to the archives of Talking Junk and listen to the interview I did with Big Kev, you'll know that during the pandemic, he did a little dance every day. Well, you know what? Let me let the man himself tell it.
Sorry, guys, there's no sound on here.
It's all right. It happens.
That's all right.
Big Kev, let us know what happened over there during the pandemic.
Well, I tell you what, it started out as I was just delivering mail like I do, and I come up to one of those Ring cameras, and it would ding at me, and it would say camera recording. And so it started out with me just kind of, doing the finger point, like how you doing, and just kind of just smiling and having a little bit of fun with it. And a lady reached out on Facebook and was like, that records videos. And I thought to myself, I always listen to music on my phone when I'm delivering mail. And I thought, okay, I'm going to do a little dance, and turned some music on, put it up by the mailbox, and started dancing. And next thing I know, she shared it on her Facebook page, and it blew up. And then she makes a Facebook page, and it blew up. And pretty much the rest is history. I'm starting to get, people asking me to do this song and do that song. And it just, during the shit show that we were living in 2020, it just simply would put a smile on people's faces, kind of get them out of the funk or rut that they were in, either being stuck at home or, not being able to work. And literally just a 15 to 30-second video of my big ass dancing, shaking my groove thing. It made people smile, made people laugh, and went viral real quick. And I wasn't expecting it, but I thought, you know what, I'm going to roll with it, because living in these times we're living in, if I can do just a little thing to put a smile on somebody's face or take them away from, like I said, the shit show we're living in, then I'm all about it.
Well, I'm pretty sure they loved it. Do you still do dances for them now?
I've taken a little bit of a break. Like some of these wrestlers, I have to sit on the sidelines for a little bit. I have to have back surgery in February, so got to take a little break. But I'll only be down about 4 weeks, and I'll be back at it.
Yeah, man, I had seen you on TikTok. Now that I remember the video playing, and I was like, dude, that's like so dope. And then I saw you on the news again. It was like, and then for me to be speaking to you now, like, it's so totally like, oh shit, like, what a small world. Like, but
Right.
What you did is actually what you were just said is like the shit show we were living in 2020. Like, everybody needed like that escape to find something to like feel a little better. And you provided that, those 30, 40 seconds of you doing your dance, you probably made somebody's day. Because I watched it, I just exploded laughing. I'm like, oh shit, who the fuck is this guy? I was like, and it had me dying. So that's
Right.
good.
We loved it so much. We had to have you on both platforms, brother. We had to have you on both shows, man.
I know you made my day, and you weren't even my mailman.
Yeah, like that's, if every mailman were like you, if every mailman were like you, it'll be great, because there's a lot of mailmen who are they don't say hi or anything in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
They're just, but that was really good for you to do that, and how you connected with so many people, because people like gave always a positive reaction towards that. Like no matter how shitty your day is, it could get better. So that was really good. I really found that, and I appreciate you trying to just having a little humor in front of a camera doing
And
that.
that's exactly why I do it. And I appreciate you for what you said, man. And that's why I did it, just for that very reason right there.
Oh man, that's awesome, man. Like just keep doing what you're doing, man. I'll maybe one day I'll be dancing in front of a camera doing something crazy too.
There you go.
How long you been a wrestling fan, Kev?
Oh man, way back in the day, whenever it was WCW would come on like right about dinner time, and it was like the Saturday night show, and then you got WWF back then. It was Saturday night's main event. I kind of caught it a little bit here and there. I was interested, but I wasn't really interested. And then once you have the Monday Night Wars is when I really picked it up, and I've been a fan ever since.
Yeah, that was the peak of that was for me one of the greatest peaks of wrestling. Like the 90s for me, like but my dad tells me the 80s and the 70s were good and the territorial days were great. But for me as a fan, and I still follow wrestling till this day, like nothing for me will ever top what between 1996 and maybe 2001. Those 5 years were like the greatest 5 years of wrestling I've ever had. When I found out that wrestling was beating Monday Night Football, that's when wrestling was wrestling.
Right.
Wrestling, it always evolves, and it's supposed to, like everything else. There's just some errors I didn't like, but I know once I was introduced to our topic tonight, John Huber, as I was introduced to him, not Brodie Lee, excuse me, Luke Harper, as you can see from here, was on here on NXT when he was destroying stuff as soon as he got with Eric Rowan. Harper formed a tag team with Rowan and demolished people like Percy Watson, Yoshitatsu,
Bruiser Brodie.
Bruiser Brodie. He never fought Bruiser Brodie.
No, but for me, he was like he was like a form of the Bruiser, of what, like bringing back what Bruiser Brodie was. Like he looked like he was fighting so stiff, but he was so safe at the same time. So that's why he reminded me so much of Bruiser Brodie, and like I hear that a lot.
It's super funny because people thought that's where he got his name from, but originally he got his name from Jason Lee from Mallrats. His character Brodie Lee, which people thought he looked like him at the time, so he just melded the two. Because Jason Lee, Brodie Lee, and that became his gimmick.
And I seen him without the beard a couple of times before in his indie days. I saw pictures of him without his beard. Eric Rowan and John Huber was not like one. He was a handsome cat, like for wrestling. Like if he would have just developed into like a regular gimmick without the beard or doing all that crazy stuff, he would have been a good star because he had great physique and he had a great face.
Like eventually, that's where it was going in AEW.
Yeah, no, but I noticed that it was going, but I felt like they were trying to keep a little bit. They were trying to feel like mock with Vince McMahon. Like he took that and like he took those shots and it helped him grow more through being like Vince McMahon, how he really was in real life.
Which was great.
Yeah, which is awesome. Like he took something real life and developed that. And he just made it so famous. Like I'm still watching the Brodie Lee tribute because it's so funny. Like it makes me explode of laughter. Like what the fuck? Or when he takes the rolls of papers and then he just says, or he throws it on top of John Silver or Evil Uno. It's so great. And like his work, like as a wrestler as a whole, he worked so hard and he made people look so great. Like there's stars that he made him look like they had drove a car over him, and they were just small guys. And for me, WWE so totally underappreciated what the value he had, because when he broke out from that molding from the Wyatt family, which was 2015 for me, I don't know if people have different opinions, which was which was for me, everybody, if you want to like see who's a main eventer, see him fight Randy Orton, because Randy Orton for me is one of the bars for you to break out. So if you could go Randy Orton,
He's a standard there.
he's a standard for you to break. Like if you could go and break out with Randy Orton, you feel me? That for me puts you in the main event level for me, because Randy Orton is always going to be at the top. So when I saw him face him, he lost, but that night the reaction the crowd gave him, which was certifying him that this guy is a main event player, and I feel like
they didn't capitalize on it, but we'll get there.
So like for me, that was like one of his greatest moments, like when he broke out, and I felt like WWE didn't capitalize on that, and they kept bringing him back with the Wyatt family, which is not bad, and I enjoyed it, but I felt like they could have pulled the trigger at that moment when after he had faced Randy Orton at Night of Champions 2015. If you guys have WWE Network, you guys can look it up. But it was like if you look at that match, the work, the selling, the fighting was just immaculate, perfect when I saw that match.
There's another match that was damn near flawless, and it was when they first got together and they won the NXT championships against Bo Dallas and Adrian Neville.
Oh wow, yeah, that was a really good. I totally forgot about that. Was a really good match. Really, really good. That was a really good match also as well. That was a really good breakout for them. The Shield.
They eventually lost the titles to the same people, but
this image right here that we're looking at is just, I remember I was watching it that night and I got like super, like my heart was racing because how they were just instigating each other and hyping it up. Like I remember this episode so well of Raw.
Yeah. See, after they lost the NXT championships back to Adrian Neville and Corey Graves on July 17th episode of NXT, they started having vignettes on WWE saying that they were coming, and they eventually came, and they had a feud with Daniel Bryan and CM Punk. They beat the shit out of them. They came in strong, heavily strong, but as you can see, as the pictures up on the screen, one of their biggest feuds in WWE when they got called up was with the Shield. Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, and Roman Reigns. Now, Dean Ambrose, formerly known as Jon Moxley at the time, and Seth Rollins, what was his gimmick? Was it Tyler Black, was it, right, on the Indies?
Yes, sir.
They fought Brodie Lee on the Indies multiple times. So these guys know each other like the back of their hands. And Rotunda, which Bray Wyatt, he's a phenomenal superstar. So the chemistry between everybody was just instant. They gave some of the best performances ever. What do you pull from that, Big Kev?
Well, I liked it whenever you have the Shield are coming in and they're wrecking shop and nobody can stop them. And then you throw in the mix to the Wyatt family, who are bigger and badder and nastier. And you have these two just go head to head, and it makes for just immaculate matches anyway. And anytime you get them all together, and they would put them not in a main event type match, but they would always steal the show and be that main event quality, but yet not a main event match.
Wait, who did you say couldn't be in the main event? Break the main event match? The Wyatts?
Like the Wyatts and the Shield, like you'd have your championship matches, and like this 6-man tag, wouldn't always be like a main event match, but it would always steal the show if it was not a main event match. And you put these six guys together, and like you said, they've all fought each other. They know each other's move sets, and they know what the outcome is going to be, and they always would steal the show with these matches, whether they're putting each other through tables or beating the shit out of each other with chairs and just going through these matches are just amazing. But yet, not always were they main event, but they would always steal the show, or you'd always take away those matches from the show.
Always.
Oh yeah,
Those
I totally agree
matches
with
always
Kevin.
stole the show.
Yeah, they always and one thing that they did, they always made each other look great. They sold great for each other, and that's what the fan always wants to get, that fantasy of I want to see that he's really looking like he's really beating his ass, and they showed that for each other so much. That feud was just awesome. How they were able to work so well together, and it worked great. When I first saw them against it, I think it was a TLC match when they went to the pay-per-view. Man, I remember Roman Reigns powerbomb. I think it was Eric Rowan, and Eric Rowan's a big dude, and Eric Rowan sold the hell out of that powerbomb he gave him on the table, and then also Bray Wyatt with Roman Reigns, still today, now they're not against each other right now because they're on different brands, but just to see how they broke out to that feud, and that's a long-term feud now. We're gonna be seeing those two for the next 10 years. So these two
But
groups,
it's safe to say though, I don't mean to cut you off. It's safe to say though, that's only because they're prodigies.
Yeah, they're prodigies.
They're wrestling dynasties. And Seth Rollins he's just ushered in by Triple H. Now, two people that aren't with the company anymore, and unfortunately John Huber's not with us anymore, but they to me were the breakout stars out of those groups.
Yeah, out of the both groups, it was Huber and John Moxley. Definitely, that we could definitely say that they were the two they were both underappreciated in each of their groups.
But there was also a reason why they were the first two people to win the singles title, because Ambrose won the United States Championship and Harper won the
United States Championship. Longest reigning United States Championship on top of that, because he held the title for 220 days.
And by then, after all of this, they had their run, the Wyatt family, but they ultimately broke up. And Luke Harper became the Intercontinental Champion September 29th.
Breakout moment for him. Really, really good. That's where I saw that he was coming up. And then after that match with Orton.
Oh, excuse me. He didn't win it September 29th. He won it in a TLC ladder match on December 22nd.
December 22nd? Okay.
Whoa,
what 2016?
Okay. Let's read it, because now I'm getting stumbled on the dates.
Because I know he had 2 IC title runs.
Beginning on September 29th, vignettes were shown of Harper and Rowan being set free by Wyatt, marketing the dissolution of the Wyatt family and the transition of its members into singles competition. After a further series of video vignettes aimed at Dolph Ziggler, Harper made his return to TV during the closing moments of the November 10th episode of Raw, throwing an unconscious Ziggler at Triple H and Stephanie McMahon's feet and expressing his desire to join their team at Survivor Series. The following week on Raw, Harper officially joined Team Authority immediately after. Harper was awarded an impromptu match for the Intercontinental Championship against Dolph Ziggler, which, after interference from Seth Rollins, Harper won to capture his first main roster title. At Survivor Series, Team Authority lost the match, which Harper was eliminated by Ziggler. As punishment for his affiliation with the Authority, Harper was forced to defend the Intercontinental Championship against Dean Ambrose on the November 24th episode of Raw and successfully retained the title after getting himself disqualified. Harper lost the title back to Ziggler in a ladder match at TLC, ending his reign at 27 days, and failed to regain the title in the rematch on December 22nd episode of Raw. But on January 25th, 2015, Harper entered the Royal Rumble match at number 4 and was eliminated by Bray Wyatt. Beginning in early March, Harper was involved into a storyline where he was one of many wrestlers stealing Bad News Barrett's Intercontinental Championship belt from Barrett and each other. So they got him into a stupid ass angle after that where he was just stealing the thing back and forth. Anyone of you guys remember that?
Yeah, I totally remember that. They were playing hot potato with the Intercontinental title, and one day this guy will grab 1 week, this guy will take it from him, this guy will take it from him. It just shows how underappreciated WWE had him. Like a guy that talented for you to have him in those kind of feuds like that. You know what I'm saying? You can keep going, Jason.
Right.
Yeah.
You could have took Luke Harper and Eric Rowan, and back then, Luke Harper and Eric Rowan were kind of like a thrift shop, Undertaker and Kane. But if they would have been smart, they could have played those angles. And you got Luke Harper, who kind of looks like the Undertaker, big, tall, and agile for being a big man. And then you've got Eric Rowan, who's just as big, but he's kind of stiff and like Kane. And so they could have played that role. So you've got the Brothers of Destruction, and then you've got these guys as the Bludgeon Brothers, and they could have done so many better things, and they were just underutilized, underappreciated, and they just didn't use them the correct way. And I feel that WWE does that a lot. They drop the ball with a lot of guys.
They do drop the ball with a whole lot of fucking guys.
And that's a sad thing. Like we don't know. And the thing is, we appreciate the wrestler more after they leave WWE to see like what they really could have been. And that's the part that's like been sucking with wrestling lately, because there's so many guys that WWE could have gave that big push. For me, the first British World Champion should have been, for me, and maybe Jason McGreer, was Bad News Barrett, not Drew McIntyre, because Bad News Barrett had look, talent, and everything, and they never pulled the trigger on him. And that's the thing, like, we didn't see the best of Brodie Lee till he left WWE. And that's the God's honest truth.
Was that person's name Goodhead?
That's what I was looking at. I couldn't figure out what it was.
Yes, Goodhead.
All right. I'm not gonna interpret that one. I'm gonna get on. After all of that bullshit they had him doing with the Intercontinental Championship, he eventually got back with Bray Wyatt. In early May, Harper revived his alliance with Eric Rowan. After Rowan suffered an injury, Harper reunited with Bray Wyatt on July 19th at Battleground by helping him defeat Roman Reigns. This led to a tag team match between Harper and Wyatt against Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose at SummerSlam, which they lost after Reigns pinned Wyatt. So this is showing what you were saying, how Wyatt and Reigns were ultimately destined to be the people on top there, the people that are going to do it for years to come. And it sucks because they could have had so many other players if they would have
they could have had so many.
What they had.
Yeah, like it's like for me, like when I saw Brodie Lee, how he was in AEW, I'm like, I'm looking, all these years in WWE, and they couldn't get at least 1 year of this, at least one of those years of this, like, and I get excited for him because I like, you could see in his expression when he came out to AEW, even if it was just empty arena, like he was ready to show the world who the fuck he really was. What he like, and then when he just broke out BTE, like he became so good. Like I just started looking up who he was more on YouTube. Like I found out much more of him, and then finding out what kind of person he was after he died, how he was a family man and always looked out for the crew, always wanted to. He gave back to the business, and that's what, for me, I don't support guys like Goldberg and shit like that because I feel like they're not giving nothing back to the business. And he was a person that his time, he never went main event like that in WWE, but he gave so much, and people appreciate that. And it's good that I feel like he had a bigger impact than guys who have bigger names than him, and that shows a lot as a character.
It does. And he was always a big man that sold. And he sold like a fucking cruiserweight. And he performed like a fucking cruiserweight. For a big man, he performed so fucking well. And so fucking fast and agile.
Yeah, like
he had the explosive power to go behind it. I don't understand what they didn't see in him.
Me either. Like, it was just like, when he broke out with that, like I was saying earlier, that Orton match was the one that gave me. I was like, dude, I'm like, throw this man in the Royal Rumble, have him win it, and have him go against Bray Wyatt, so Bray Wyatt puts him over or something like that, and we can actually have that extra star, just like how they did with Seth Rollins, with out of that group, and they did it, and I'm like, why? Like, he's so good, and he has great mic skills too. Like, they could have put him to talk, and he could talk really good. And I'm when I heard him talking to AEW, I'm like, why didn't they give him a mic in WWE?
He had a
Like,
great
this guy can
promo.
speak, yeah, like this guy can speak better. I was like, wow, like this is crazy. Like I'm like I was like blown away by it. Like I thought you said I'm like, this is Brodie Lee. I'm like, why didn't WWE didn't give me this? And it just comes to show, like, it's
Yeah, that's the
crazy.
thing that pisses me off, because you got Vince McMahon and he keeps that damn brass ring in his back pocket where it's,
The imaginary brass
unattainable
ring.
from anybody. And, I watched an interview with Chris Jericho, and he was talking about how when he comes to AEW, they're asking the wrestlers, what kind of idea do you have? What do you want to do? And that's the kind of input that's going to put all these guys over, and it's going to make people like us kind of fanboy out like that. That's what I wanted to see happen. I wanted them to do that, 10 years ago when they were here. That's the idea I had. We're sitting home like, man, I wish they would have done this. I wish they would have done that. And like guys like Cesaro, who are just phenomenal, and they're just being used as jobbers and just are doing these trash matches.
And throwing them in tag teams for random tag teams. Shinsuke Nakamura, the biggest star ever to walk Japan, for you to just waste them. Also, another talent. Like, it sucks. It really sucks.
It's safe to say that if they go to NXT and they're big stars, Triple H gets them taken away from him, sent to the main roster, and then they get shitted on. Because Asuka, big star also. She does, she got a couple of accolades, but the whole gimmick shit that they got her doing.
I'm running out much. They appreciated her more last year than they ever did. Like, she's besides the 4 horsewomen, she's right next to those girls.
Right. I mean, still, they give her the goofy reputation. They don't give her a good, reputable.
No, and like Shayna Baszler, she's supposed to be the baddest bitch on the planet. And what do they got?
I love Shayna Baszler at NXT.
Tag teaming with Nia Jackson. She don't do shit. She should be the fucking champion right now.
They dropped the ball with Shayna Baszler when they didn't have her win the Royal Rumble. As soon as they didn't have her win the Royal Rumble, because the crowd was asking for her, not for Charlotte. They were asking for her.
It was
and
also
they dropped
the money
the ball
in
and they gave it to Charlotte.
Too. The Money in the Bank match too. They could have had her win that.
Yeah.
But the thing
really,
is that
honestly, if they really wanted, and let me finish this off real quick, this little debate, and let's get back to John Huber. Fucking, if they really wanted the fans to be in their realm when it came to Shayna Baszler or Asuka, they should have gave us that feud right there. Whether either one of them had the title or not, every fan around wanted to see Shayna Baszler versus Asuka.
Yep.
You're totally right about that, brother. Or at least Shayna Baszler against Becky. That's what I really wanted to see at Mania. Like, more of that. We got it. But they buried her. Like,
it should have been a big feud just like it was with Ronda, because in my opinion, Ronda didn't do shit for her. But we digress. Where were we? They had a lot of feuds after that. They fought the Brothers of Destruction. They fought the Dudley Boys after they got back together. They did a lot of things like in the Royal Rumble, but they were eliminated by Brock Lesnar. They eventually hit a roadblock because Harper, on March 12th, he suffered a knee injury. March 21st, he suffered a knee injury in an untelevised match on Raw, sidelining him for 5 or 6 months. After getting an MRI, it was revealed that he dislocated his patella and tore his femoral ligament. Because of the injury, Harper was not drafted to either Raw or SmackDown in 2016. Harper did return, though, on October 25th unsuccessfully teaming with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn and Seth Rollins at a house show in Chile. 4 days later, Harper returned in the match on SmackDown brand pay-per-view No Mercy, helping Bray Wyatt defeat Randy Orton by distracting Orton and giving Bray Wyatt the distracting pinfall. But that's what you was getting at, Chance. That's when he started feuding with Randy Orton, really showing.
Yeah, that feud, they built it up perfect, and they culminated it. They culminated it perfect. Like, he got under, but it broke him out, like, into that scene. Like, I'm like, dude, oh shit, like, we got something here. When I saw that, I was like, we got something here. Like this. And for me, I love his moveset because he brought a lot of those classic moves. Like one of my favorite moves that I love, which is the gator roll. Like nobody, like I used to love JBL call his matches when Luke Harper would do. Oh, here we go, good old classic, the gator roll. And a lot of wrestlers don't use those classic moves.
I love that move.
The gator roll was like one of my favorite moves of his that he would do, and the discus lariat was a good one. But I like how he used a lot of classic moves in his moveset.
Yep, bro. First of all, to get back to that, the gator roll was a vicious fucking move, and for some people, they just love to see it and to see him twerk and see him roll on the ground. But you got to think of how vicious that really is.
Yeah, and since it was like he was like a
you have the man in a fucking rear naked choke on top of their head, and you're rolling around on them. Yeah, and it fit because he was kind of like a swampy ass character.
Yeah,
but he really showed his star premise. Robert from Facebook said, "Brodie always been a diamond in the rough. WWE, like y'all stated, definitely dropped the ball. He could have been like an Orton in Evolution situation. Really, though, he could have been a world champ at least once. He definitely could have. You could have threw him the wackest ass championship too. You could have threw him the Universal shit at least. You know what I mean? Even if you didn't want to give him the WWE title premise, you could have at least given him the fucking Universal title, that bullshit ass title."
Great comment, Robert. Thanks.
But after that, didn't they align with Randy Orton and eventually win the World Tag Team
aligned himself with them because for benefit, though.
Isn't it always for benefit? Because they did the same thing, didn't they?
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like,
and he had fucking great matches with Bryan too.
Yeah, but but Randy Orton in a way killed the Wyatt family. And he didn't have to kill the Wyatt family, like, because after that it was just dead. After that whole feud, it buried that what the Wyatt family was, because they threw the belt on Bray Wyatt at Elimination Chamber for him to just lose it a month later, which right there was just the ending of the Wyatt family for me. Like, it was over.
Yep.
It was.
And for what? For a guy who doesn't need no more credibility than what he has, 14-time world champion. Like,
after that they put him back with Rowan because he did a lot of other shit after that.
Yeah, they did the Bludgeon Brothers after that, but
yeah, they did the Bludgeon Brothers.
But they see, that's the thing. They didn't believe in him. How me, you, and Kev believed in him. They didn't believe in him for. Like, that's the
universe. More than half the fucking WWE universe believed in him. You know what I mean? And they dropped.
But the thing is, the company didn't believe in him. And that's
even though they gave them the World Tag Team Championships.
Yeah, and they
their
wanted
biggest feuds to date for those titles.
It was a great moment, but if they could have done, they could have gave him. They could have from there. They could have pushed him, and they buried him. Like, it was good for Mania and for the tag team titles to give him some respect, but we already seen him win tag team titles. We want to see him win world tag team championships.
Yeah, he fought AJ Styles. Great match. He fought a lot of people that he had great matches with. They just shitted on him hard.
Bad. So hard.
And
After that, they even gave Eric Rowan a bigger push, I believe, than Luke Harper.
Yeah, he came out with that crate with the spider or whatever that stupid shit in there. And
Yeah, but before that, they had see the one with the New Day right there, their greatest feud between them, and they had a good feud with the Usos too.
yeah, they both those three tag teams, man. They always had great chemistry together. Like I remember, I think they had a triple threat tag team ladder match too, and it was really freaking good when they did it.
It was great. They had a lot of matches like with the Good Brothers, Gallows and Anderson. They had great fucking matches. I'm not gonna mention the one with the Hype Bros because I fucking can't stand that fucking team. But they had a great match with Zongo. They had
Another
great matches, great tag teams.
the one
But they just got
match
shit
that I
on
wanted to
constantly.
see was them and Viking Raiders.
Yeah, that would have been interesting. And I honestly thought that they were gonna throw the Viking Raiders with Eric Rowan after he split from Daniel Bryan, but they never pulled the trigger on that.
That's the crazy. That shit is crazy, man. Like, so underappreciated, man. That's another team that
After
I hope they don't do the same thing with.
On March 11th, 2018, the Bludgeon Brothers made an appearance at Fastlane, interfering during the SmackDown Tag Team Championship match between the Usos and the New Day. This led to a Tag Team Championship match between the three teams at WrestleMania 34, which the Bludgeon Brothers won to attain the titles. They would go on to successfully defend the titles against the Usos at the Great American Rumble. The Greatest Royal Rumble event. Against Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson at Money in the Bank, and against Team Hell No at Extreme Rules. The Bludgeon Brothers lost by disqualification in a championship defense against the New Day at SummerSlam, resulting in them retaining the titles, which is the one that you see right there on the screen. 2 nights later, on August 21st episode of SmackDown, the New Day defeated the Bludgeon Brothers in a no disqualification match to win the championships, ending their reign at 135. And the following day, it was announced that Rowan had suffered a torn right bicep, sidelining him indefinitely and putting the team on hiatus. After that, Harper made a surprise appearance at NXT House Show September 6th, where he unsuccessfully challenged Ricochet for the NXT North American Championship. Great fucking match, by the way. Yes, the match at Mania was fucking amazing.
That was a really, really good match. I'll actually go check it out later or tomorrow. I'll go check it out again because that was a really good match.
But the one he fought Ricochet on NXT for the North American Championship, that was a fucking great match. I thought they were going to pull the trigger on his singles career, give him the North American Championship, and leave him on NXT. Because at the time, people were already defecting back. They were getting sent back down. That was when Cesaro was making some appearances on NXT.
Yeah, he were. They were having him do some appearances on there. I really was kind of mad that they didn't throw NXT with the Survivor Series team again, because that helped break out NXT so much. Like,
oh yeah,
like for me, like when they did that little thing with NXT the year before, 2019, and they brought in Keith Lee and all those guys. That's where the main roster found out who was Keith Lee, when he spirit bombed Roman Reigns there. And then when you see him come out in the Royal Rumble, and when you see Brock Lesnar be like, he looks at Paul Heyman and then he looks at him, he's like, big boy. And when you see, and you barely see Brock react to somebody when he sees their presence. When you see Brock Lesnar give a reaction to someone in his presence, that means that person is good, because Brock don't sell for nobody. Brock don't sell for nobody.
And it's crazy because that's another underutilized talent. Vince McMahon had the audacity to put him back into developmental, stating that he needed to gain his skills more. You know what I mean? There's nothing. Maybe I could see him needing to tweak his character a little bit to fit the main roster. But what do you expect when you throw the man in a pink fucking singlet as soon as he gets up there, saying that he's fat and has no fucking physique? The man is the only man I've ever known that has a fucking beer keg for a belly with a motherfucking 6-pack.
And check this out. The only guy to see I ever seen do 350 pounds do a moonsault off the top rope Right. Vader did a good moonsault.
Flawless.
I'm not gonna front. I'm not gonna
Flawless,
front.
though.
Vader did a good moonsault. But that moonsault that Keith Lee does is amazing. And him jumping off the top rope, doing a swanton over the rope outside, nobody's beating that, man. A big man, there's
Correct
no
me.
big man doing that today.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but Keith Lee reminds me of Samoa Joe when Samoa Joe fought in the X division in early TNA days.
I think he's actually better than Keith. I think he's better than that. Keith Lee's charisma, man. Like even
No. I'm not talking about charisma. I'm talking about in-ring prowess. The way
for me, he's better than Samoa Joe. His in-ring prowess, because Samoa Joe is more ground and pound. Keith Lee, he could do ground and pound and fly and do some technique.
So that's what I'm talking about. Let me refine what I stated. His cruiserweight ability is reminiscent of Samoa Joe in his TNA X division days. Big man, explosive cruiserweight moves.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of people like that.
No, there isn't. There's very few. Like
you're gonna watch.
Dominic Dijakovic is another dude being wasted and retro trashing, and he should have been right there with Keith Lee too.
Yeah, you're gonna watch Keith Lee in a match, and he's gonna pull off some of these moves, and you're like, how in the hell? And you're sitting at home watching your TV, and you see this giant guy. It's like, okay, he's gonna bench press somebody or power bomb somebody, and the dude's jumping off the top rope or he's flipping over the rope with ease, making it look like he is a cruiserweight, and that is just outside the box type thinking. And again, they just drop the ball on that kind of shit,
And he has like such great charisma too. Like he's good on mic, and this is something that WWE could capitalize and market on. He's a black superstar, and he's also Christian. You know what I'm saying? Which they could, even if it's because I know WWE is just a money hungry company. So if they want to just capitalize on the market and do that, you could push him into that market, and he could sell.
Yeah, absolutely,
definitely. And this is why I hate that they dropped the ball on Luke Harper early on. And by the way, welcome, Talin. How you doing, buddy? You looking good in that Talking Junk shirt there.
Hey, how you doing, fellas?
I'm good, Talin.
What's up, man?
I wanted to pop in at least. I've heard you guys have been having a great conversation, but I wanted to show my pretty face here, say hello, catching on the tail end of things. How y'all doing?
Pretty good.
Doing good.
Good.
Kev, Talin is usually the co-host of the break room. Big Kev is the dancing mailman, Talin.
I saw your work, sir. It was very joyous. That's the kind of energy that we need in times like this.
Right on, man. I appreciate
Definitely do. And for all you guys that are just joining us, I see a lot of people joining in and out of the conversation. The big man up on top is not Eric Redbeard, a.k.a. Eric Rowan. He is the dancing mailman, Kevin Robbins. That's him there on screen giving his postal
dance moves.
I don't want to say customers because they're not customers. What do you guys call them?
Well, we actually call them customers. You were right in saying that. I mean, we're providing a service to the customers. I mean, and then I go a little extra above and beyond, I guess you would say.
Hey, killing them with the floss.
Hey, there you go. Get it, Kev.
Like that floss.
You gotta have a little love in what you do.
Big man, explosive moves. Sort of like our topic today.
Yeah.
Big man, John Huber, a.k.a. Brodie Lee, FKA, Luke Harper.
Harper.
We were just talking about when Talin joined us, if you guys joined us. And you guys can always chime in. Attention whore, good head. We're attention whores too. So if you want to chime in, you can chime in. Robert's been doing a great job this episode chiming in, giving some great insight. But we want to let y'all know too that we were just in the process of telling you how much WWE shit on that man right there.
Yeah, you can kind of tell. I don't even know a whole lot, but you can kind of tell that they underutilized this man.
after all of his shit, after all those little one-offs, he had wrist surgery, and then he eventually came back right there where you see him after Eric Rowan was already establishing his own sort of weird ass gimmick. He came back. I don't even want to mention the dates or anything about that, which I'm sorry, Eric Redbeard, but I don't really think that this is a good return moment for Luke Harper because he was asking for his release.
Yeah, this
pretty
is
much around that same
he
time.
just fulfilled. I think he was just fulfilling contract duties with this because right after he was only on for like 3 weeks, and then he was gone for 90 days, and then that's when I saw him come back on AEW.
Yeah, it was amazing, and that's we're getting there right here. Because soon after he left on November 26th of I believe 2018,
19.
2019 he filed for a trademark for Brodie Lee for his former wrestling name. On December 8th, it was announced that Harper had been released from his WWE contract. And here's where that right there is a great picture of a great man in probably the best gimmick of his career, in the best storyline of his career, in what we thought was the best shape of his career. He looked fucking amazing, and we're gonna get there right now. Let me just read it off a little bit. Let's get through this little paragraph here, and we'll get everybody's thoughts on John Huber's AEW career. But Huber made a surprise debut for the Jacksonville, Florida-based promotion All Elite Wrestling on March 18th, 2020. Now, if you don't know who AEW is by now, you've been sleeping under a fucking rock, and you need to wake the fuck up. AEW is a revolution started by the Elite, formerly known as the Bullet Club. China, don't worry about looking for the picture there. We don't got the picture there. You could have left the Mr. Brodie there. They're a great promotion. Some people are basically comparing them to WCW, but I think they're way better than WCW. They're way better than the competition, and I don't want to pit WWE against AEW because if you're a wrestling fan, as stated by Amanda Huber, we should just appreciate the content, enjoy it as wrestling fans. Don't pit one against another.
But it's always good to compare because the reason why AEW is around is because WWE stopped doing what they were doing. And that's why, like Tony Khan had no reason for he's a rich fan, but he wanted, and for him, the storylines that he's been able to develop in AEW, that's what I wanted to see. Like, you know what it is that I literally fucking cried after Cody and Dustin. Like this dude had me.
So did I.
Crying.
So did I.
He had me in tears, that's what wrestling have forgot. They forgot to make that human connection. That they it could take your emotions and you can get it. They take your emotions and they could just grab onto that shit and it'll go like a roller coaster. Just like,
and that's because first and foremost, they take away the people that we try to usher in as the new era. Like Brodie Lee in WWE. Luke Harper needed his time to shine and they didn't give it to him. So that's another reason why Cody, the Young Bucks, and Tony Khan got all together and created All Elite. Do you concur, my friend Chance? Where did Chance go?
Going back to confirming with my opinion with the All Elite Wrestling and Brodie Lee. Brodie Lee, when he came to All Elite Wrestling and I saw him break out, and I was supposed to go to that show before the pandemic because that show was supposed to be in Rochester. I was supposed to be at that show, and that show was supposed to be in Rochester, I remember. So when he came, it was just so exciting because I saw that I was going to see something that I never saw from him before. And then him building feuds.
But they were building up to this for a while, right? They were building up. Dark Order was a faction already.
And people
established.
have negative reactions. He saved the Dark Order because the Dark Order had even you, Jason. I remember even you saying something really negative
No,
about
no,
the
no,
Dark
no.
Order.
No, never. Go back
No,
on
no.
my
When
Facebook.
they debuted,
No,
you said that they were kind of
See,
like jiffy. I remember you telling me that.
no.
And
Listen, I'm gonna tell you exactly what I said because Robert Driscoll, he's a friend of mine, and we were in a group called SOW. It was basically a video game league for the wrestling game. We created our own stuff, and I before AEW came out, I made a faction. I was the one that was curating all the storylines, the factions, and everything. And I made a faction called the Dark Order. And later on, they came on and they made the Dark Order for real. So I was a fan of the Dark Order since day one. If you look at my personal Facebook page and my friend, our friend Chance in Waterbury, Christian, he can confirm that I've been a Dark Order fan since day one. And Evil Uno and Stu Grayson were doing a great fucking job before Brodie Lee came. But they decided to take that and run on their popularity from the vignettes that they've been running during the Dark Order. And the little commercials that they were doing, they decided to excel that group and make them bigger than what they were. And I know for a while speculation was on, I'm sure Big Kev and Chance can concur on this one also, that there was a lot of speculation that Matt Hardy was supposed to be revealed as the Exalted One instead of Luke Harper, aka Brodie. He was a surprise choice for the Exalted One. What did you think about the switch last minute, Big?
Yeah, I'm absolutely agree with you. You know, you watch the show and everything is pointing towards Matt Hardy when he came in, and you know they're showing spots of him here and here and there, and you're thinking, okay, you know, they're leading right up to it. Yeah, he's going to be the one. He's going to be the one. And then you know you've got Brodie Lee coming out, and anytime you see somebody, you know, leave the WWE, you kind of expect them now that AEW is around that they're going to pop up, and Brodie Lee shows up. You kind of fanboy out. You're like, oh my god, I can't believe he's here. You know, you kind of freak out like this. This is a
When
lot
he
better than
came
having
out,
Matt Hardy do it.
fanboy is not the word, Big Kev.
I'm not going
When
to
he,
fangirl.
well, I
Like, oh
kind of
my
fangirled.
god, you know.
I kind of fangirled. I'm not even gonna lie. It was very reminiscent to me of when Samoa Joe won the NXT championship for the first time from Shinsuke Nakamura, or when AJ Styles came out in the Royal Rumble for his very first debut on
Oh
WWE
yeah.
TV. I fangirled out so fucking hard when Brodie Lee was mentioned as the Exalted One. I don't even.
me too. I'm
It
not
was.
gonna lie.
I was the loudest person in the state probably when he came out, or at least in my neighborhood, because Chance lived in the same state as me at the time, and so did my friend Christian, and so did my friend Mike. A lot of people fanboyed out when he came out, when he debuted. So it was fucking amazing, and he debuted on top too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
right where
called.
he needs
I
to be.
marked out. I actually marked out. Like I was like, Jesus, I was such a mark that day when he came out. Like it was crazy because I was like, oh man, here he comes. And then when they threw him in the feud with Moxley again, I was like, wow, this is crazy. Like this is just
Oh
great.
yeah,
And
we're gonna
then
get there. So let's get through this real quick so we can fanboy out again. Deal?
Bet.
All right, so where were we? He debuted on the March 18th, 2020 episode of Dynamite, readapting his Brodie Lee ring name. Lee was revealed as the Exalted One, the unseen leader of the villainous faction, the Dark Order, attacking SoCal Uncensored with the other members of the group. After staying undefeated for several weeks, he challenged AEW World Champion Jon Moxley to a championship match at the Double or Nothing pay-per-view. At Double or Nothing on May 23rd, Lee was defeated by Jon Moxley, marking his first loss in AEW. Can we see that graphic real quick? That was a fucking great match.
Right.
And I was kind of pissed off that John Moxley came in and just seemingly won the AEW World Title from Chris Jericho, because I instantaneously knew once this feud came up and he got this championship match, Brodie Lee was not going to win the big one once again. I knew they wasn't going to repeat the same thing twice. Have a WWE guy come in straight away and win their world championship.
Yeah,
So I was tight. What about you?
I wasn't that mad because I felt like the title needed to get a little credibility before they put it on a non-WWE guy, which I was excited when how they passed it on from Jericho, then to Moxley, and then now that Omega has it, which now the title has a little more respect because the title it developed before they just went and threw it on nobody that we don't know. Like I totally understand the point of view of them for the title to get exposure that they put it on Jericho and Moxley.
But I also feel like as a fan and as a person that loved the character and the persona of Luke Harper and the passion we all felt when WWE took his shit away from him, that he should have at least gotten the touch. You know what I mean? Chance, I see your point of view 100%, bro. Because as a promotion, you want your title to be reputable and you want them to have that credibility. You want those names to be on there. But in my opinion, Brodie Lee was a reputable name to have that title.
Oh, yeah, he was totally reputable. But remember, besides Brodie Lee, John Moxley was just as much underutilized as him. So, and remember, John Moxley already had a year with the company. And remember, John Moxley was undefeated throughout his first whole year. So, it was just two guys, and then for them working together, they showed WWE even if a Brodie Lee went under, as it's wrestling terms, even though he went under, it broke him out, and we already knew like if he would have not passed this year, he was gonna get that belt. Everybody knows that. Easy, like if he would have not passed. Everybody knew that he was just going to get the belt this year at least.
Yeah, they probably would have put him against Kenny Omega because it would have been an interesting feud, and they could have did something like Alpha versus Omega.
Exactly.
Ooh, yeah.
It would have been amazing. But after his loss to John Moxley over the following months, he would recruit new members into the Dark Order, including Colt Cabana and Anna Jay. And on the August 22nd episode of Dynamite, Lee quickly defeated Cody, which I think
no. He didn't quickly defeat him. He squashed Cody Rhodes for the TNT title.
Hold on. I got to turn my camera back on for this. He beat the living dog shit out of Cody Rhodes for 3 minutes and 15 seconds. Cody Rhodes did not touch this man once.
He squashed him. Like he made him look worse than a jobber.
Not in that match. The 22nd match you had.
This match. It was this match. It was the card on this match.
3 minutes and 15 seconds. Talk about fanboy for his fucking debut. I was fanboying for this match right here. 3 minutes and 15 seconds. They finally give him it's a singles title. It's the secondary title, but they're giving him the recognition as a fucking big man that he deserves. And I love it. They made him squash the biggest man in the company at the time, because Cody's TNT championship run, his first run, was very, 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 very good for wrestling. He brought everybody in. Everybody. From all different...
But that was it. But for me, not for nothing, for me, they give more attention to the TNT title than the world title for some reason. And like for me, the world title on AEW right now is the TNT Championship, and for it's had the better match. It's had for me the better matches, the better storylines, and the better feuds. That title for me, that title actually has. No offense, maybe there might be fans that might not like the opinion I'm about to say. Has more respect than the actual world title.
Well, which was the case for the Intercontinental Championship in WWE for quite some time too.
Yep.
Yeah, well, yeah, a lot of fans respect the title because a lot of fans saw that was a title for the breakout star. But WWE doesn't appreciate the IC title. Have you seen what they've done with that belt? That belt, literally, in the past few years, the only people
It
that
looks
put respect
disgusting.
on that belt, the only people that put respect on the IC title is The Miz. For me, that's the
Yeah,
only person who put respect on the IC title.
he did. I'll give you that. He did. He did his thing for that. Um, after he quickly defeated Cody in that match, though, I said disquashed. So that was. We'll just leave it at that. After he disquashed him, he won the TNT championship, and he fought people after that. Like, you know what? After the match, after he fucked up Cody, let's get down to the nitty gritty. After he fucked Cody up, he also fucked up QT Marshall. He fucked up Dustin Rhodes, and he fucked up Brandy Rhodes with Colt Cabana, Evil Uno, Stu Grayson, and other people. But then that's when fucking Matt Cardona, boo boo boo, came out with Scorpio Sky and Orange Cass. Excuse me, not Orange Cassidy. Dustin Rhodes, they all came out and they helped him, but it was pretty much a squash for everybody. He fucked everybody up, bro. He showed his dominance in that episode.
Well, I'm sorry to cut you guys short, but I already have my son here, so I told Jason I was gonna try to be here the first hour. To the break room fans, sorry I had to deal with the situation,
Oh, you
and
good, bro? Just
it was a
before
pleasure me being here. Kev, thank you very much for your
No problem,
entertainment
man.
as the dancing mailman. On a
before
high
you get
note,
out of here, bro,
I just
why
want to
don't you
take
give
it
us
out of
your
here.
final thoughts on Brodie Lee before you get out of here?
My final thoughts on Brodie Lee, one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. Definitely deserves a really good spot in every wrestling fan's heart. Besides him being a wrestler and as a character, after we found out who he was behind the scenes, and I just hope that I'm really excited to see in maybe 8 to 10 years from now, -1, and continue on the mantle, what it is of the Brodie Lee story. So those are my final thoughts for him. Prayers to him and his family, and go to AEW shop to buy the T-shirt to support his family because they deserve it. And -1 definitely deserves it. And
Definitely.
we are one. And Jason, I'll take a stack of papers and I'll throw it over my head for you. I got you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I need papers.
I need papers. You know what? On that note, good looking, bro. Have a good night.
Good night.
You too, man. You guys have a
Thank
safe
you.
one, all right?
Little man.
Take it
Until
easy,
next
bro.
time. Good night, brother. All right. Well, how did I get there? Let's go back into the everybody screens.
How did she get there, Jason?
How did she get there?
Not that. Just like hello, fellas.
Well, you know what? Before we go anywhere, I do want to say I got papers right here, and what I want to do is give the papers to WWE because WWE dropped the fucking ball on Luke Harper, so WWE deserves their motherfucking papers.
Yeah, they I haven't been able to have the pleasure to watch Luke Harper, aka Brodie Lee, as he was wrestling and active. As you know, Jason, I'm a serious casual fan, and that I go through spurts where it's just like, all right, everyone will watch some wrestling, and then I find like somebody new or somebody recommends a fight to me or some sort of era, and I go and I watch it and I watch as much of it as I can. And I actually remember the first time I became aware of Luke Harper was back when we worked at Toys R Us, because I would often be stocking boys' toys, and they would have all the wrestling figurines that would come in. And after a while, there'd be certain ones that people were looking for. So you kind of get to know the names, and like, so they'd be asking for the Wyatt family and like Bray Wyatt. So I'm looking out, seeing who those are, and him and like that whole group maybe be like, "Yo, what the hell's going on in wrestling? Like, this kind of looks like it might be an interesting group of people going on here. You know what's going on here?" And
you see a big, disgusting looking man with a white beater and a stain on it. You're in. instantly intrigued. Like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, like what's the angle they're going for here? But looking into some of the material that Jason sent to me to help me get brought up to speed, one thing is for sure, he seems like he was a really nice guy, John Huber. Seemed like he had a really good passion for what he was doing from the beginning on throughout, which is something that as you get to learn more and more of the wrestlers, you see a lot of them are actually like behind the scenes, really cool, chill guys. They put on this persona that's just like, oh my God. And with Chance and the Papers thing like that, I thought that whole just him with the Dark Order and just like how he would come over and tell him to have papers, or just like, I want you to take a stack of papers and hit yourself in the fucking face. Like, like comedy to me is just, it was really funny, but like seeing how often he would get set up to
on the internet again.
oh no. Have I been cut out this whole time?
Internet again.
Well, I talked to her everything you just said.
We're buffering
Okay.
on the internet.
All right.
We're buffering on the
Jay,
internet. We're
can you hear?
No, we can hear you.
Okay. I was just like,
I didn't hear anything you said.
We heard it all.
Okay.
Buffering on the internet again. I was buffering on the internet again. I was buffering on the internet. I was buffering on the internet. Buffering on the internet again. Oh, excuse me. I couldn't get through one episode without doing that.
Evidently not.
No, I couldn't. Everything
anyway,
that I got about it. I'm sorry to cut you off. She got the pictures up right there. If there's one thing that you could take away from Brodie Lee's career, and one thing of everything that everybody has been saying about him, is that he was a big family man. Big. And that's his son Nolan and his son Brodie. The big one's Brodie, -1.
Also, the man had
because we were
a fabulous beard. Like, he grew a stellar beard, and he kept carrying that shit. And I can't really tell as much in the light here, but I can tell you have a wonderful build as well, Kev.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Let's show everybody that beard, Kev. Let's show everybody that beard.
Everybody the beard.
Look at that beard.
Look at that. That's a beard's beard right there. You can stroke thoughts with that one.
It's all right. That my beard's gonna make a comeback soon.
We'll see.
Okay. Challenge accepted.
No. Kev, that beard looks great on you. Jay, keep it how you have it. You can trim it down some.
But in regards to Harper, aka Brodie Lee, I didn't I haven't really watched a lot of his stuff as it happened. I've seen him as actually like another character as part of other matches I was watching, following other characters. But he always seemed like he was an intimidating character. He had good moves. He was entertaining to watch. And it's really unfortunate that once he was finally able to break from his contract, that tragedy would strike as it has, because it seems like he was primed to really make some moves out in AEW, and it's unfortunately short-lived.
Yeah. He was gonna take the fuck off, definitely. And like I said, I never seen anybody's mustache grow that long. I didn't know anybody could grow a mustache that long. Literally, if he did this to his lips, you would think he didn't have any, just because it covered over his beard. It was amazing. I loved it. But around this time is some of the stuff that I sent you, some of the footage I sent you of him on a show called BTE, which you can catch on YouTube. It's great. It gives almost a behind the scenes, uncut look at wrestling, but they stay in gimmick, which is amazing, and that's where we got the papers from.
That I was mentioning that before when you got cut out. There was a part where
I didn't hear your opinion.
There was I thought it was really funny, like being able to write a story that's going on to where you're kind of still keeping the integrity of the characters, but you're still keeping it lighthearted and kind of funny. And I laughed pretty hard when he was so pissed off he called what's his name on the phone is like, I need you to get a stack of papers
Uno?
and hit yourself in the fucking face.
Yeah. Are you
It was just hitting you in the face with papers.
Fucking stack of papers right now and hit your fucking self in the face.
Yeah, and then
Uno's
I think
like,
it was I forgot who it was, but homie with the cowboy shit, he fucking like killed him with stacks of papers too. I thought that was really funny. Like everybody just was so afraid, and he just pulls out papers from his belt like it's weapons. Like it's absurdity like that that still
and they
allows you
would
to appreciate a character that I really like. You know,
definitely, but they would only sell for Brodie. They wouldn't sell it for anybody else. Like he would give Evil Uno occasionally the papers to hit John Silver with, and Silver was like, "No, bro, I'm not selling to you." And it gave them their own personas, and I love it. And he helped Anna Jay and John Silver excel to places where they didn't think they were going to be. So just his presence on a lot of these things really helped these other characters form their style and their character. So he wasn't just about John Huber. He wasn't just about Brodie Lee. He was about everyone around him. He loved his friends, he loved his family, he loved his sport, he loved his business, and he was going to make it work no matter what he got. And God damn it, he made it
work. Excuse me, I got something in my eye here. No, he's definitely very electric individual. Like when he's out on stage, he definitely, especially since he's so large, like in the kind of hits that he has, like the kind of the chops and I was seeing the discus throw thing that he has. It made me think about like how I never considered a discus throw to even be considered like you could use it like a chop, but then like they showed a shot of him and I was like, okay, no, he made that work really well. Like I think the fact that he was actually a decent person is what allowed him to be able to create the content backstage that he was able to. Because if he was a dick, I doubt that he would have been able to pull that off. People would just been like, yeah, no, it's just him being himself, yelling like an asshole, as opposed to him acting like an utter asshole. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, definitely. Well, let me see. Look, just a little preview real quick.
Excuse me.
I'm sorry, technical difficulties there. I don't know why why nobody can hear it. Now everybody, the whole consensus around him being a hard ass for his gimmick was that he was mimicking the Vince McMahon character. So for him to do all of that behind the scenes, the Vince McMahon character worked fucking well for him. And I don't know who came up with that, but whoever gave it to him was a fucking genius. And for him to do it on BTE, sold the shit out of it. And the way he did it on BTE was amazing too. And they said it was hard for them to stay in character. And some moments you could see John Silver laughing and he would slap him to get him back into character. But it was hard because he was the sweetest man in the world, acting like the fucking heinous creature.
And that's one of the things that I was really impressed with on like looking on YouTube and finding like different videos on, Facebook and things like that. These guys in WWE remembering him and just how genuine of a man that he really was, because he has this persona on TV where he's big and bad and nasty, and the people backstage, they would sit there and they'd start to think about him, and they get quiet and just be like, he was a big teddy bear. He loved everybody, and you kind of hit on it that he just wants to make everybody a part, even if it's just a little bit. He wants them involved, and just taking that the type of man that he was is just amazing.
Yes, yes, it was you, and it's true what most of them said. It's very rare that you find a person in the wrestling industry that nobody has one bad thing to say about.
Right. And there's something I need to talk about real quick because this has been bugging the shit out of me. I watched a video and I don't remember where I watched it from, but you know how they did the tribute show and they gave, -1 the belt, and that's forever his belt. But I seen a video to where he had, I think DDT'd Omega, who's got the championship belt, and they just so happen to have a referee there, and he pins Omega, and he technically wins the championship.
Yes. Now I don't know if that's on the record books, which if it was, that would be something similar. Well, yeah, something similar to what Braun Strowman did with the kid that he won the tag team championships with.
And the thing that,
But
and I'm reading articles about it, and so Tony Khan or whatever his name is was saying that technically, since he won the championship belt, from now until he turns 21, he will get royalties from that. So he's going to get, or his family will get a couple $1,000s a month because he was actually a champion in the program. And I thought, you know what? That is leaps and bounds what any other company is willing to do. And that just blew my mind.
Yep. On top of that, they gave -1 Brodie Jr. the red TNT championship and stated that Brodie was the greatest TNT champion to date that held that title. So that title is no longer there. They didn't retire the full TNT championship because the one that Darby Allin just has a black strap now, and it looks pretty damn good. But yeah, as you can see right there, they retired the TNT championship and gave it to -1. And Tony Khan stated that -1 was the TNT championship for life. So if he doesn't get royalties from being the heavyweight championship that he won on AEW Dark in a dark match after dark, ironically, he more than likely will get residuals from this. And not only that, -1 Brodie Lee Jr. officially signed a contract with AEW. So -1 is all elite. When he turns 18, he can join the company. And he's already been training with a lot of people, not just people in AEW. He was seen training in the Heart Dungeon with Tyson Kidd and Liv Morgan.
Wow.
He was also seen kicking Adam Cole's ass in a New Year's Eve party. But we won't mention that too much.
Right.
That's awesome, though, that he made such an impact that the respect in the industry is such that they're going to at least make sure that his kids have everything they could possibly need to have a shot in there and just have the support and know that he's got a family outside of his own,
Right.
Especially compared to previous losses in the past with wrestling, let alone just WWE, but in general. And that's a really good thing to see in here. I don't know if that's relatively new or not, as you were kind of mentioning how it's nice to see compared to the past, but I hope that kind of trend increases and can spread out to other sports as well.
Definitely. And just a little bit about his personal life. Huber married his wife Amanda, a fellow professional wrestler, also known as Sydney Sin, which I never knew. I didn't know that until this very moment right here. Today years old. In 2008, they had 2 sons, Brodie and Nolan. Following Huber's death, his older son Brodie was signed to All Elite Wrestling, like I said, and became a member of his father's faction, the Dark Order, at the age of 8. He also did a pretty good fucking promo in ring with Marco Stunt.
Yeah.
Which was hilarious. What was your thoughts on that, Big Kev? Did you see that promo?
I've seen a little bit of it. I just thought, talking about, you're just a little bit bigger than I am. And I pretty much saying I can still kick your ass. And that was pretty cool.
Oh, it was great. Where was I? His death. Unfortunately, John Huber died at the age of 41 on December 26, 2020. This is not why we're having an episode on him. Unfortunately, it's probably why we sped up the episode on him, because eventually we definitely would have cooked up an episode on him, because Kev, we've been trying to cook up a wrestling episode for the longest.
Oh yeah.
Unfortunately, because he died on December 26th, on one of the last episodes of the break room, actually. I don't remember which episode we were airing, but we got the news that he had passed while we were doing the live. So immediately I told the crew that we had to honor him. We had to do a quick episode on him. And I know we probably didn't give him all the flowers he deserved, but like everybody else, like everybody else, we couldn't give him what he deserved.
Right.
This man deserved much more than what he was given in his life. It did say that he died to issues unrelated to COVID. There's only speculation at this time. There were some little tweets here and there out of people's mouths, but I don't.
Right.
Unless it comes from the family or possibly the company, I don't believe any of it.
Right.
His legacy will forever live on, though. A multitude of wrestlers and wrestling personas paid tribute to Huber with stories, with stories on social media, most of which shared a running theme of him being devoted to his wife and children, while going out of his way to guide and support other wrestlers. His former Wyatt family teammates also paid tribute. Bray Wyatt called Huber his best friend, his brother, and his partner. Eric Rowan said that Huber meant more to him than he will ever know. And Braun Strowman referred to Huber as one of the most unselfish men he had ever met and an amazing husband and father. Cody Rhodes, against whom Huber wrestled his final match, called the match an honor and a privilege and an experience so ferociously humbling. After many of the stories about Huber had been widely shared, Randy Orton stated, "You all have heard about how much we all respected Huber, about how much we all enjoyed his presence. It is a fact." The December 28th, 2020 episode of WWE Raw opened with an "In Memory of John Huber," Luke Harper graphic. Performers and commentators paid tribute, and this is the graphic that we showed in the beginning of the show and that we kept showing. That graphic right there. That's the graphic that it aired, or either that or it was the one with him in white. I'm not quite sure exactly which one it was, but I remember it cutting to the people on the stage and it had that graphic on there. Performers and commentators pay tribute by using some of Huber's catchphrases, which you'll see me throw out there from time to time from now on my Twitter, on our Instagram or our Facebook, which would be today. It's Saturday. You know what that means. Or yeah. And from now on, when somebody fucks up in the break room, China, I need my fucking papers. Somebody's getting hit with a stack.
I like it.
After many of the stories about Huber have been widely shared, and the commentators pay tribute, performers pay tribute by using some of his catchphrases, people welcoming viewers and exclaiming "It's Monday." You know what that means. Like I was just saying, Drew McIntyre beginning his promo with Xavier Woods and other people wore armbands. The whole tribute show seen the Dark Order and a lot of fucking people using his moves. The Dark Order won not only all of their matches that they were featured in, they stacked the card. They were on every fucking match, every single one, and that's because -1 picked the card for that night. They wanted to honor this man fully. They pulled a show that was supposed to happen. We were supposed to get New Year's Eve night 1 or New Year's, whatever they were calling it, night 1, and we got this beautiful tribute show. Just a beautiful tribute show. Kev, did you watch the tribute show? What did you think?
I think it was, immaculately done. AEW again just surpasses everything that they do compared to other organizations. They really showed you what kind of a person that they really were, instead of just doing, everybody on stage and ring the bell and show a couple clips here and there. They really made you understand who John Huber really was. Kind of gave you an insight to how he came up, how he was, and then they let the other people, friends, other wrestlers explain what kind of impact this one man had on their life, their their jobs, their wrestling, and it's just amazing.
Amazing, and I'm glad that they decided to do that, because WWE dropped the ball
Yeah.
again. Babe, give me my fucking papers. These guys, all they did was put up his picture. They didn't give him the 10 bell call. They didn't do anything. And I like to think in my head, and I don't know if you guys go back into the archives, which will be available sometime between tomorrow and Monday on Spotify, or you could go on our Facebook page on The Real Talking Junk, or our YouTube page, and look up the episode that the news was December 26th, when the news was broken. I believe we might have been the first people to give him the 10 bell toll, but they dropped the ball on giving that to him. I'm so glad that they did it in the beginning of the episode there, because that's a big thing in wrestling. When you tell somebody you're going to see them down the road, you give them that 10 bell toll.
Mm-hmm.
It's an honor. Like when Yandu died, they gave him his whole flowers of, what was it called, Deloria, some stupid shit like that. But the 10 bell toll is very, very, very honorable. It's like giving a cop or a military man their rifle. Am I right?
Yeah. It's like the 21 gun salute type deal.
Yeah, exactly. I couldn't think of the words, but that's exactly what it's like. And WWE dropped the ball on that.
So as like a casual kind of fan, as I mentioned before, where does that actually originate from? Is that like from back in the 80s beforehand? Does that be like before wrestling even got really big, or like where's the 10 bell toll really come from?
I'm not sure. China, would you mind pulling that up for us? While she gets that, just being somebody that just came in for the past 40 minutes, Talon, and kind of listening in while you were on your way over here, what do you take in from the kind of superstar John Huber was?
Well, he definitely had the kind of persona about him that is what makes a star. And listening to some of the stories of what people said about him as he was like coming up and he was unknown, kind of to me showed that he had the character to be great, and that he was going to be great, and that even though he couldn't see it because he was working, you can't usually see where you're going to be, others could sense it and see it in him early on and kept him going forward. And when you have something like that and you have a great personality, that's a unique combination, I think, in general for sports, let alone in wrestling. Not that there's not great guys in wrestling, but I mean, wrestling is a crazy ass sport and it involves crazy ass things, and behind the scenes, people have even admitted to doing crazy ass stuff to each other. That said, in the small bouts that I see him in and like saw him in, it's really sad that he's not going to be around anymore, because I'd like to see more of him fighting. I'd like to see him kind of like see what he could do in regards. Well, I mean, he's in AEW, or he was in AEW, so there wouldn't have been anything there. But like how he split from the Wyatt family, and like how they have the Fiend and all that going on, and like again, I'm late to the party, but like it would have been great to see where that dynamic could have gone for them. To see where he could have been as a split off as another superstar, but also it looked like WWE was just underutilizing the fuck out of him. They were making it look like they were setting them up for something great, and then they were just like, no, just kidding. And then they would do it again and do it again. And it's like, why are you going to take somebody who's clearly wonderful talent and then just absolutely misuse and abuse them like that? When all they can do is like they want to be great for you in the first place. You know what I'm saying? So why are you going to just play a person who has the talent, has the ability, has the desire, and the growing fan base to give you success like that, and then just fucking play them like you did? And then what's even worse is that he was able to recognize that and begin steps to fix it. And once he was finally out, unfortunately, life had something else planned for him. Like, it's I really
I like to think he didn't need to fix anything, but the
not
company he was
fix
in.
himself, but like fix where he was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like not fix himself, but fix the situation which he found himself in. Which was fortunate that he was even able to do, because there's plenty of people that can't break out of contracts and get stuck, just being underutilized and wasted. I imagine if people like him were able to maintain a career in AEW, it would inspire more more migrations from WWE over to the AEW as more people were being established.
Let me tell you, as a
Although
fan, let me pause you right there. Every single body that is underutilized and wants a chance most definitely does not want to sign back with WWE, and they want to go back. I mean, they want to go to AEW where they know they're going to be used correctly. There are people that are already trying to make that possible for themselves.
Yeah, and I know slightly off topic, but I believe that's the thing with Matt Hardy, right? He had like a whole back and forth with AEW, did he not? Or was that a different
Oh no, you're right. He's still there right now. I kind of believe they're trying to push some sort of version of Brodie Lee's character onto him with this young tag team called
That's an interesting name.
I was gonna say that's
not their name. That's not their name. Private Party is their name. Private Party.
Okay.
Great young tag team. Kev, I know you've seen Private Party. What do you think about Private Party?
I think we lost Kev.
Oh, did we leave?
Yeah, we lost him.
All
so
right,
it looks like the first 10-bell salute was in 1984.
1984. And who was it given to?
David Von Erich.
David Von Erich. Okay, the Von Erichs were a very, very prestigious family in wrestling, so I can see that.
Quick aside. Talking to my father about how we were going to be doing this podcast, and then I apologize again for my being late. But he mentioned to me that out here in California, because I forgot my dad was a kid, he used to watch wrestling back in the fucking day, and I didn't think that he would do that. Granted, he was an adult more so at this point, but like he saw Rocky Johnson like fight. He's been to fights, and he met Rocky Johnson back in the day and stuff like that.
We just lost last year. Rest in peace.
Yeah. And it's funny how you can get into things you don't know about, and then it brings you back to people's like, oh no, I know about that. I used to watch it, but it's like, you used to what? You know, the kind of things that help you learn about the people you thought you knew. I didn't want to break away too much there, but having been talking about this topic, hell led me to learn something about my dad. And he was like, yeah, let me see if I can get on there. I'm like, I don't know. I'll let you know. But you can always watch and check us out. Check out in the comments. But I thought that was a fun fact that like he was out here in Southern California, and he was able to meet him and see some of his fights.
Hey, I don't see why not. We can't get a nice 80s wrestler next time we do a wrestling show and have Pops on here.
We'll have to see about that. That could be fun.
Hey, we'll let you decide. But we want to thank Big Kev again for stopping by. I don't know what happened. You want to give everybody a little refresher on who Big Kev was real quick, China? Big Kev was the dancing mailman. Great guy.
He is the dancing mailman.
Yes, he is the dancing mailman. I only said was because he was just on here. but great guy.
Look at that.
From what you can get from everything that he did, he was all about bringing joy to the world. Well, he is, excuse me, all about bringing joy to the world. He's a family man. He got kids of his own that he loves, and he's just, he's all about life and bringing good positive vibes into the world, which was just like John Huber, the guy who we just did the episode on today. Rest in peace, John Huber, aka Mr. Brodie Lee, aka Luke Harper, Brodie, Big Rig, Huber Boy 2, the all around fucking man in AEW. We want to thank you guys for stopping by for our little discussion on John Huber. Let us know in the comments, because these videos will be up. Let us know if you enjoyed it. Let us know if we messed something up, if we did a good job. We love feedback. We love to know. We have an email that you can hit us up on. I believe it's talkingjunkfans@gmail.com. Let us know how you feel, or let us know if there's a topic that you want us to cover. Nothing is out of the ordinary for us. Nothing is too explicit, too mundane. You want us to look something up, you want us to cover it on the show, we will do so. Good night over here from the break room in sunny wherever the fuck I'm at. My man Talon.
See y'all out here from SoCal, Central Cal. Not gonna tell you exactly where. California. Have a good night.
China. Yeah. Have a good night, Junkers. Because that has been our episode of Brodie Lee. Rest in peace, John Huber. So you know what that means. Good night, Junkers.